I was sleeping on the couch, he was sleeping upstairs, and all of a sudden I woke up to a loud bang, and I was like, what is that?
Picture a quiet suburban street in Lafayette, India, bathed in the golden light of a late summer evening. It's August 12, 2019, and the neighborhood is still, save for the hum of cicadas. Inside a modest two-story home on Maple Drive, a man lies motionless on his kitchen floor. His name is Daniel Weaver, a 42-year-old insurance adjuster known for his warm smile and predictable routines. The glass of iced tea beside him is half empty, its contents pooling on the linoleum. At first glance, it looks like a heart attack, a tragedy, but not a crime. But pay attention to the woman kneeling beside him, her hands trembling as she dials 911. She's Laura Weaver, Daniel's wife of 15 years. Her voice cracks as she begs for help. To the paramedics, she's a grieving widow. To the police, she's something else entirely. Now shift your focus to the weeks leading up to this moment. The story of Daniel's death didn't begin in that kitchen. It was born 2 years earlier, in the summer of 2017, during a moment of betrayal that would unravel a marriage and spark a chain of events no one could have predicted.
In June 2017, Laura Weaver, then 39, was a part-time librarian with a reputation for patience and precision. She and Daniel had built a comfortable life, 2 kids, a golden retriever, and a home filled with family photos. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. Daniel had been staying late at the office, claiming deadlines. Laura noticed his phone buzzing at odd hours, messages he'd dismiss with a nervous laugh. One evening, while Daniel showered, curiosity got the better of her. She unlocked his phone and found texts from a coworker, Emily Grant, 29, laced with affection and plans for a weekend getaway. Laura confronted Daniel that night. The argument was explosive, spilling into the early hours. Daniel admitted to a 6-month affair, but swore it was over. He begged for forgiveness, and Laura, for the sake of their children, agreed to stay. But the wound festered. Friends later told investigators Laura became quieter, her smile forced. She threw herself into work and parenting, but her eyes lingered on Daniel's phone, his car keys, his every move. For a year, Laura presented a facade of normalcy. She attended PTA meetings, baked for school fundraisers, and even joined Daniel for couples counseling. But inside, a plan was taking root, not born of rage, but of a cold, calculated need for control. In July 2018, Laura's internet history began to tell a story. Searches on her laptop, conducted late at night, included phrases like, symptoms of antifreeze poisoning, how long does ethylene glycol stay in the body, undetectable poisons in autopsy. Each query was a step toward a decision. She wasn't just angry, she was methodical.
Laura knew Daniel's habits like a script. Every evening at 6:30 p.m., he'd pour himself a glass of iced tea, sit at the kitchen table, and scroll through his phone. She began experimenting, adding small amounts of antifreeze stolen from their garage to his drinks, testing his reactions. Daniel complained of headaches and nausea, blaming stress. Laura, ever the dutiful wife, suggested doctor's visits, but he brushed her off. Her patience was her weapon. To execute her plan, Laura needed an opportunity when suspicion wouldn't fall on her. She found it in the form of a family camping trip planned for August 2019. The Weavers would be gone for a weekend, leaving the house empty. Laura saw her chance to stage the scene. She'd claim Daniel stayed home, feeling ill, while she and the kids were hours away. But she needed one more piece, an alibi.
Enter Michael Trent, a 34-year-old mechanic who serviced the Weavers' car. In June 2019, Laura approached him at his shop, claiming she needed a favor. According to Michael's later testimony, she offered $3,000 to say he saw Daniel alive and well at a gas station on the morning of August 10th, while she was supposedly at the campsite. Michael, struggling with debt, agreed, but insisted he wouldn't lie to police. Laura assured him it was just insurance for a family matter. He didn't ask questions.
On the morning of August 9th, 2019, Laura prepared Daniel's usual iced tea. This time she added a lethal dose of antifreeze, colorless and odorless, stirred into the sweet tea he loved. She kissed him goodbye, packed the kids into the minivan, and drove to Brown County State Park, 120 miles away. Security footage from the campsite entrance shows her van arriving at 2:15 p.m. She texted Daniel throughout the day, casual messages about the kids' excitement, creating a digital trail of normalcy. Back home, Daniel drank the tea, unaware of the poison coursing through him. By evening, he was disoriented, his vision blurring. At 7:42 p.m., a neighbor's Ring camera caught him stumbling to the mailbox, clutching his stomach. He returned inside and collapsed in the kitchen. Laura's plan depended on timing. Antifreeze poisoning mimics natural causes if not caught early. She'd banked on the delay in discovery. On August 12, Laura returned home with the kids. At 6:05 p.m., security footage shows her entering the house. Moments later, her 911 call echoed through the quiet street. "My husband's not breathing. Please hurry." Paramedics arrived at 6:14 p.m., finding Daniel cold and unresponsive. The scene looked tragic but unremarkable. A middle-aged man, dead of apparent natural causes.
The Lafayette Police Department initially treated Daniel's death as a medical event, but small details didn't add up. First responders noted a faint chemical smell in the kitchen, untraceable to any cleaner. Daniel's lips were pale, his skin clammy. The coroner's preliminary report suggested organ failure, but something felt off. On August 15th, toxicology results confirmed the truth. Ethylene glycol, the primary component of antifreeze, was present in lethal amounts in Daniel's blood. The glass on the kitchen table tested positive for the same substance. Detectives turned their attention to Laura. Her calm demeanor during interviews raised eyebrows. She claimed Daniel had been feeling ill for days, but coworkers reported he seemed fine the week before. A search of Laura's laptop revealed her damning internet history, time-stamped months before the camping trip. The campsite alibi was solid. Witnesses confirmed she was there, but phone records showed a flurry of calls to Michael Trent in July. On August 20, detectives brought Michael Trent in for questioning. Presented with his own phone records, he cracked, admitting to Laura's $3,000 offer. He swore he never saw Daniel that weekend and hadn't lied to the police yet. His story gave investigators a motive: Laura's fear of losing her family to Daniel's infidelity. On August 22, Laura was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. She said nothing, her face a mask of defiance.
Laura's trial began in March 2020, gripping Lafayette's tight-knit community. The prosecution painted her as a scorned wife turned cold-blooded killer. They presented a timeline: the affair in 2017, her internet searches in 2018, the antifreeze in the garage, and Michael's testimony as proof of intent. Security footage from the campsite and neighbors' cameras couldn't disprove her presence at home, but the digital trail was damning. The glass with antifreeze residue was their cornerstone, though no fingerprints tied Laura directly to it.
Laura's defense attorney, Sarah Klein, argued reasonable doubt. She emphasized the lack of physical evidence, no antifreeze found in Laura's possession, no witnesses to her poisoning the tea. The internet searches, Klein claimed, were curiosity, not a blueprint. She painted Daniel as a flawed husband whose affair drove Laura to despair, not murder. Michael's testimony was unreliable, a desperate man angling for a deal. Klein's boldest move was for Laura herself to take the stand. Tearfully, she swore she loved Daniel and suggested he might have ingested antifreeze accidentally, perhaps from a garage spill. The jury deliberated for 8 hours. On March 19, 2020, they returned a verdict: guilty of first-degree murder. The motive was clear, the digital evidence overwhelming. But one question lingered. Could Laura, a librarian with no criminal history, truly have executed such a calculated act? The judge sentenced her to life without parole, sparing her the death penalty due to her clean record and role as a mother. Laura's appeals continue, each denied. She maintains her innocence, her letters from prison claiming she was framed, perhaps by Emily, the mistress, or an unknown enemy. Michael Trent faced no charges, but left Lafayette, his reputation tarnished. The Weaver children, now with their grandparents, haven't spoken publicly. The house on Maple Drive sold in 2021, but neighbors still whisper about the iced tea that killed Daniel Weaver. The case didn't change Indiana's laws, but it left a mark. Antifreeze manufacturers faced scrutiny, with some advocating for bittering agents to prevent similar crimes. The unresolved question haunts investigators. Did Laura act alone, or was someone else complicit, their role buried in the shadows? What do you think? Was Laura Weaver a mastermind or a scapegoat? Drop your theories in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that unravel the truth behind the headlines.